Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Kiger. Up here today is going to be a bit of a interesting video here. Hopefully, I'm going to keep this intro short. It might not be a long video. Basically, today I'm sorting through my PlayStation 2 games into sub-genres, genres, etc. And as you can see, I have a lot of games to go through. So basically what I was going to do here is just for a little while, maybe about 5-10 minutes, go through some of these games and sort of give you my process on how this is all going to work. It is important to have, one of the problems when you have a lot of games is, and no way I'm not getting rid of any of these games or anything. If I've got a few doubles here, maybe if you want them, let me know. Problem is when you have so many games is it comes to a point where you do have to start. Your games can sometimes get a bit cluttered, but also a bit unorganised. My PlayStation 2 collection has been organised before, but then when I get more games, it's trying to find where they go, and not just that. Then when they've been moved around, they were upstairs, then they were downstairs, then they're back upstairs now. So what I'm doing, today is going to be into sort of like a genre with sub-genres and also series. I'm just going to take a few games out and sort of tell you where I would put all of these games. It's going to be a long process. I'm not going to show you everything, and when it's all done, I'll probably, when I put them all back, I'll probably show you and tell you what I've done. So for example, first game, Terminator Rise of Machines. Technically it is a first-person shooter. I could put it in with first-person shooters, but it's part of a series. It's a TV series. It's also Terminator, and there's a bunch of Terminator games on PlayStation. So I will put Terminator into the main genre of movie-based games, even though it's not, movie, but also it will be in Terminator series. So when it comes to the other movie games, it will go with the Terminator games. So movie games. Smarties Meltdown, again, this is like a weird miscellaneous platformer. So I'll put it down as platformer, but then when I get to the bigger pile of platformer games, it will be sort of put down into a subgenre. So it could be a puzzle platformer or an action platformer. So platformers. Incredibles, Disney game. I'm going to put all my Disney games together, so all my Disney games will be going together. Stuff like that, even though it's technically a movie, but I really want to put it as Disney. Silent Scope 2, a light gun game, so I want to put all my light gun games together. Stuff like that. The Mummy Returns, another movie game. It will go with movie games, and then will be put down in subgenres. The Simpsons Road Rage, I want to put all my TV shows together, so The Simpsons will be going with TV shows. Things like SingStar, it will be music-based, peripheral-based things. Snowboard Racer, again, extreme sport, it will be under board sport, any kind of extreme sport. Just things like this. It is going to be a long process, but it's just sort of showing you how it's all going to work. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to have enough room to do all of this. Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, again, action platformer, so I'd put it with platformers. So the best way to do it is get yourself your main genres first, so action platformers, racing games, sports games, and then slowly divide into subgenres. That way you can get a pile of things, then do it into subgenres, and then decide where they're going afterwards. Great Battles of Rome, a strategy game. So it is, I don't even know if I'm going to have enough room for this. Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, stealth action game. So I put it with stealth games, stuff like that. It is a long process and it does take a while, but the more time, but if you sort of divide it first, I'll go, depending on how you want to do it, if you want to do it alphabetical, fine, it will take longer, but I'm doing it genre, so make main genres, then split it into subgenres, then mini subgenres, so series and stuff. Smuggler's Run, for example, a racing game. It's a car game, but it would be under this would be under action-based car racing game, but it's still a racing game, so it will go under cars or vehicle games. The Incredible Hulk, for example, all my superhero games I'm going to put together. Stuff like that, another Spyro game, platformer action game, but then when I get to sorting through the platformer games, I will go, okay, Spyro's all together. Here's action platformers, here's heavy platformers, here's 2D platformers, stuff like that. The Italian Job LA Heist. This is a hard one. It is a racing game, but it's also based on a movie. so it goes under movie. Although sometimes it is hard to do it like that, and makes things harder. You know, it depends on how you want to do it all. You know, I want movie games to be together, but then if it's a racing game, I could put it under a racing game, but I do want it under movie, if you know what I mean. The Red Star, this is a shooter, so a twin stick shooter. I put it under shooters, anything shooter based, like that's not a third person dedicated game or an action game. So twin stick shooters and arcade shooters go together. Beautiful Joe, a beat 'em up game. You know, it is beat 'em up, it's fighting, it's beat 'em up, so they go together. Transformers, based on, you know, an action comic. So I put Transformers with the superhero game. Technically it's not superheroes, but it is based on a TV show and it is based on a comic. It's sort of comic-y like, superhero like, stuff like that. You know, Virtua Cop, that's another light gun shooter, but that would be going with light gun shooters, but then, you know, I can decide, well, I don't really play a lot of light gun games, don't have the peripheral, so all my peripheral based games will be going together. You know, The Simpsons Skateboarding is another animated TV show game. It is a skateboarding game, but I want to put it with animated stuff. You know, Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, it is an action game, but it's also a platformer, so it goes with platformers, and then it will be split between into action platformers, you know, dedicated platformers. Sonic Heroes, all my Sonic games I want to put together, so you know, they are technically platformers, so I'll put them under platformers, for example. It's so much easier if you get a little bit of an easy process and then start dividing it. You know, Tokyo Race Driver is a racing game, but it will go under simulation when I get to racing games, you know. Same with the other one. Makes things a lot easier. This part is easy, but then when you start trying to divide it into subgenres, that's when it gets hard. And I'll probably stop this in a minute, and then when I start making progress, I'll show you, I'll continue on. But you know, Top Gun, Daredevil, another racing game. It is racing, it is a racing game. You know, Worldwide Racing, that would be under buggy racing games or off-road racing games. You know, just so much easier doing it like this. Splinter Cell, stealth games, goes with the stealth games, for example. You know, Tokyo Race Driver 2, racing. You know, Lord of the Rings, another movie-based game, but it will be going under all of the Lord of the Rings games. Sniper Elite, this is a hard one because it is technically first-person shooter / third-person shooter, but here's where I am going to break it and put it under World War II based games. So it is a shooter, it's a third-person shooter, but then do I want it to just be with the other third-person shooters, or do I want it to be with, you know, just under its own thing? You know, King of Fighters, another fighting / beat 'em up game, goes with the fighting games. If I had any more King of Fighters, they'd all go together. You know, Football Mania, this is a sports game, but it's a Lego game, and I want all my Lego games together. You know, sometimes when I know that a series has more than one style of game, for example, Lego games or you know, Star Wars games, I'll put them in their own set for now, because it just makes things a lot more complicated down the line. Tekken 5, another fighting game. Spider-Man 3, a superhero game. You know, No One Lives Forever, The Operative. This is a first-person shooter, so now I have my first-person shooter pile. Splinter Cell, another stealth game. See what I'm doing here makes things a lot easier. Super Monkey Ball, this is a hard one. Is it a platformer? Is it a racing game? I'll put it under platformer for now, and then eventually I will sort it into a subgenre. Tiger Wood, a sports game. And I have a lot of sports games. But then obviously Tiger Wood will be going under golf games, but also simulation. You know, The Incredibles, another Disney game. Rumble Racing, that's more of an arcadey tuner stats racing game, so that'll be in its own subgenre. Transformers the game, it is a movie game, but since I've already put Transformers in with superheroes / comics, that sort of thing, I put Transformers with that. The Da Vinci Code, another movie game, but it's on its own, so it'll be its own movie game. Power Drone, this is a futuristic racer, but it's going with the main racing games for now until I decide to do otherwise. Teleaddict, this is a quiz game, so I'll put this under miscellaneous board / quiz games, you know, board, card and quiz game. You know, The Sims 2, again, this is simulation, but I want all my Sims games together, so they will go there. It makes things a lot easier. You can start doing sub-genres while you're doing it, but when you've got a, you know, Tekken 4, a fighting game, you know, so you do want to try and do main genre first, but if there are games that are part of a series, put them together. For now, the Fast and the Furious, another racing game, that would go under, you know, action, you know, things like that. Dragon Ball Z is a fighting game. It would go under fighting games, but I want all my Dragon Ball Z games together. But I can put these with fighting games because I already know where the Dragon Ball Z game is. Sims is different because I know there's not many simulation games that I have. Incredible Hulk, for example, another thing. Puzzle games like Tetris go under puzzle games. SX Superstars, this is a bike racing game, but it goes with racing games for now, and then when I start to get to it, it will go with subgenres. So you see what I'm trying to do here. Narnia, another movie game. You know, Superman, another comic game. Time Splitters is a first-person shooter, so it goes with first-person shooters. So this is sort of what I'm doing here now, and it will start getting a lot more complicated down the line. And I'll come back to this in a little bit and show you how I'm getting on. So I'll be back in about 25 minutes, half an hour, maybe an hour. I don't know, it's not really going to matter to you, but I'll come back to it in a bit and I'll show you when we start breaking things down into subgenre. See what you... Okay, so I've put them all to main genre now, and now I'm starting to put them back. As you can see, I've sort of split them into subgenre. Obviously, we're starting to put them back on there now. So as you can see, like, these are all my sports games. So all my football games are going together, darts, you know, etc, etc. Up the top, I've got there, you know, NFL, you know, so obviously baseball, the only baseball game I got. So obviously all my American sports can go together up there like so. And that's sort of what I'm doing with the main thing. And it definitely really helps doing things like this. So you can see, like, hockey, for example, I've got like NHL 2003 and 5 goes there, and then NHL Hits and ESPN, like so, you know, like so. So it's quite simple like that, and boom, there you go, NHL goes up. That's how I've done things. I've sort of put things into a main genre and then sub-genre. Just makes things a lot easier. Obviously, it's not fully in alphabetical order. It would take me too long to do everything in alphabetical order. But as long as the games are all together, that's all that matters. So it's got a lot of things to go. As you can see, I'll quickly show you before I get on with this. As you can see, it's still everything's sort of sorted now. So it's going to take a while to do this, but I'm going to get on with it. And then once it's all done, I'll show you guys. So I finally finished this off. I just thought I'd quickly show you what I've done. Put all my sports games at the top, all together, obviously. Kept it, you know, obviously they're still behind as well. Obviously all my sports games are up there, like, or, you know, you can see all like the pool games, all the FIFA games and stuff like that. That was easy. Again, all my like extreme sports stuff, you know, Tony Hawk and stuff. Some of the smaller collections were also here, like the puzzle games that I got, the adventure games, adult games, pinball games. Same thing I did with, again, I kept all of my wrestling games together. Like I put like a thing like here, like gangster themed games. There's even some westerns are all together. All like my arcade games, Lego games, Star Wars games, Sims games, you know, stealth games like, you know, Metal Gear Solid. Kept all the Disney games together, although I did just fuck up by putting Finding Nemo down there. Actually, I might be able to fit it in there, actually, tell a lie. If I can find it. Yeah, I messed up by finding, oh, that's Shrek. Those fucking sharks. I want fucking Finding Nemo. God. Yeah, it was a bit of a long drawn out thing. All my hack and slash games are now together. Again, most of them aren't in alphabetical order. Some of them are, some of them aren't. All my Warriors games are finally together. You know, strategy games, theme park games, horror games, World War II games, of course, sort of semi-open world games. Of course, there's stuff behind here. I don't really know what's behind. Animation and TV show games. Again, all of me JRPGs, other RPGs, beat 'em up and fighting games, of course. A bunch of you know, JRPGs here and fighting games, and all the racing games. You wouldn't believe, actually, I've got more racing games than sports games. Unbelievable. But I tried to keep them as you know, as you know, sorted as possible. I've put like all like the bike racing games together, all like the simulation games, stuff like that, you know, all like the burnouts all together. I just have so many racing games, it's unbelievable. Again, a bunch of like first person and third person shooters all together, and then at the bottom is just like all my, you know, movie based games, you know, licensed games, you know, that aren't Disney basically. But overall I'm quite happy with all this, actually. Definitely and I've still got some more space down there, which is great. I'm quite happy with how it all came out. It was a long process, and I'm fucking paying the price for it because I bloody ache like hell. But still, happy how it all come out. Hope you guys enjoyed this little video, just to sort of see that, you know, if you put time and effort into making your games presentable as possible, it looks good. Like I said, not everything's in fully alphabetical order. I just sort of gave up after a bit, but you know, as long as everything's in genre and sort of all close together, that's good enough for me. And quite happy with how it all comes together. You know, obviously I tried to put some of the more played games towards the front, you know, like my Star Wars, my Dynasty Warriors, stuff like that, you know, my JRPGs and things. So games that I know that I'm going to play more of, and obviously like the sports and the puzzle games and the miscellaneous and girly and, you know, music and dance games and educational games, I'll just put towards the back and at the top because I'm not really going to play them. But overall, quite happy how it all came to be. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment below, let me know what you do with your games. How do you sort them out? Is it something you enjoy doing? Is it tedious? It certainly is tedious. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Mad Kyger, and Mixer. I might be streaming tonight some Red Dead Redemption again tonight. Probably play a bit of solo, get some more stuff, and then probably go on with my mate, hopefully. And as always, guys, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.